Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Real Play Podcast. This is your girl, Ciera,
It's Ebony.
and we are happy you are here with us today on this beautiful day. We're here to talk about a few things that were on our mind this week. So first off, I want to start talking about Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
So I was a fan. I have been a fan. She hasn't really made music that I know of lately, but her first like real album that everybody knew about, like I Got It. I used to ride
Pink
down to
Friday.
yeah, I used to ride down to North Carolina, like playing it hard, super loud. It gave me the energy to get from from Maryland to Fayetteville, back and forth. Like that was my girl.
Okay.
Like I know all the raps. I can, that's me. But she's kind of settled down a little bit. She got a life. She got a baby. She got a husband. Which kudos to you, boo. We all trying to be there one day. Anyways, um, so I do follow her on social media. I don't really see her post a lot, but
Okay.
that doesn't mean she doesn't post. I follow her on Instagram. I don't always see everybody's stuff, but what I did see is I did see a post that someone posted about her Twitter. And the second I read it, I immediately was like, whoa. Then it turns out now she's suspended. So I'm going to read what her tweet was.
Okay.
And this is from September 13th. So just a couple of days ago. And it says, they want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I feel I've done enough research. I'm working on that now. In the meantime, my loves, be safe. Wear the mask with two strings that grips your head and face, not that loose one. She got the praying hands and the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw it, I was like, okay, Nicki, this your page. Tweet what you want. But at the same time, I was like, on her platform, should she say that? Should she say, hey, they want us to get vaccinated so we can go to this like party. But I'm not going to do it until I get more research, and I'm still looking for my research. So in a way, she's telling people to be safe, but she's also telling them, hey, make sure you do your research. I'm not feeling this. It's a little sketchy. She's on a platform. She has a lot of people that listen to her. So part of me was like, man, she shouldn't have said that. Like, but then the other part was like, freedom of speech, say what you want. It's Twitter. Then I found out yesterday she got suspended. Her Twitter account is suspended right now, y'all. So that's a whole lot. Let's unpack this from the beginning. So, Ebony, what are your thoughts on what she said?
I was gonna ask you, what did you actually think? But let me say this. I am a little confused with the cancel culture now, right? Because I feel like the table talk, the things that we used to be able to say, we can't say anymore. And I understand that one, I will say this, so don't stone me to death, but she does need to be careful. Unfortunately, when you are a celebrity and you have that big a platform, you have so many people following you, especially if you look at her demographic, they're probably very young people, right? And you need to be careful because young people are very impressionable, and a lot of millennials, what's the Generation X, they don't read. So a lot of their news source unfortunately comes from the shade room and social media, being Nicki Minaj. And a lot of people follow her hardcore, like the Barbs. They are ready to sting and attack if you say anything about Nicki, right? And so here's the thing: if she's saying I'm not taking the vaccine, and maybe how many million of followers she got, like 22 million or something like that.
So let me see on her Twitter.
Millions, how many?
Hold on her Twitter page. Oh, I don't know, girl. I don't even know how to use this. I don't know how to. Oh, okay. She has 22.7 followers.
Right. So you have 22, almost
22.7 million. Yes.
22.7 million followers. Let me be clear. And I understand some of the conversations that she probably had around the vaccine was at her house with her friends, with her family members. But unfortunately, and I will say, because you are a celebrity, Nicki Minaj, you just have to be careful with what you say and how you say it. I hate it. It's unfortunate. It just is what it is. That's the, they say that's the price you pay to be a celebrity, and everything comes with a cost. So that just happens to be, if you count them up, count up the 22.7 million, that is your cost to be cautious of what you say on social media.
Right.
That's number one. However, on the flip side, because I'm going to play devil's advocate, that I feel like people should be able to say what they want to say when is in regards to their body. It's a catch-22 for me. It's like I'm repping freedom of speech. I feel like you can get whatever done. We are all pro-choice, right? A lot of times it's pro-choice, it's whatever you decide until it comes to certain different things. And I'm thinking, America, that we need to be picking and choose. We need to be picking and choosing when we can be pro-choice for our body and when we can't be. Make up your mind. And I feel like with social media, we're subjected to so many people's opinions. I don't like it. Yes, we're using this platform to have our opinion on, right? We are vocalizing our voices, but we are careful with what we say. We are real, because honestly, when we record, we don't take anything out. So whatever I say is what you're going to get. But I'm also aware of what I say, and I try to make sure that whatever I say is either valuable or it's going to be my opinion, and I'm going to stand by it, because I'm going to stand by it. Because what's the
I'm gonna stand beside him.
I'm gonna stand beside him, right? I'm gonna stand beside me when I say it. You know what I'm saying? In this podcast.
And that's what Nicki did. I mean, I guess she was like, this, I said what I said. And Twitter is the one who suspended it. Nah. And it even says at the bottom, this account is suspended. But then I see she's posted on September 15th. I don't know. I don't really know how to use Twitter.
One of my friends, she sent me on TikTok this thing where it could have been a joke, but some of the barbs was pledging allegiance to, quote unquote, what Nicki said. So they were repeating her Twitter account, but they were pledging allegiance to what she said. And I was just like, see, that's why I can't get with it, right? Because you have to be careful. You do have all these people who are very impressionable, joke or not. Stuff is just left these days. You can't do what you used to do, unfortunately. I'm sorry. It is what it is. So yes, go to the White House. Yes, listen. And I do. Let me just say this one other thing. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist myself when it comes to certain things, but I also think that one, we should be allowed to do our own research, and we should also not always take everything for face value. I've learned that with the news. Now, I'm not saying that with the vaccine. I'm just saying it just in general, right? So I think everybody should make their own decisions. In most states, I'll say in Maryland, at this point, it is almost mandatory here that you have to take it depending on where you work. And so most people, the reality is most people are going to eventually have to take it at some point. So
either that or
be without a job.
Be good on unemployment because you can't go to work.
They're probably going to make it to where you can't even get on government assistance if you don't have it. So you got to get a check one way or the other. So that hasn't been said yet, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. And there's some illegal ways to make some money. And I know Biden, I know the president don't want that. So, but yeah, so that's the first thing that I just wanted to talk about.
I thought about other ways to make money. I think we just thinking about two different ways, but it's okay.
Oh no, I'm just saying there's lots of ways. I'm not going to say any of the bad ways to make money, but y'all watch movies, y'all watch music videos, you read books. There's lots of things out there for you to do.
Well, give us your opinion, because I feel like you said you didn't.
I did. In the beginning, I said that as I read it, as much as I read it, and I was like, wow, you got a lot of people following you. I don't know if that's something that she should have said, because she does have a lot of followers. I don't know the exact number, but you can't just say certain things because people are going to take that for truth. And she's not telling them. She never said, don't get it. She said she's not going to get it until she does her research. So she's telling them to do their research, which I think is not bad. But at the same time, it's dangerous because some people are just going to take it as face value as no, I'm not going to get this because Nicki said she's not going to get it right now. I'll wait until she's cool with it and then I'll do it. And so on that side, I feel as though she shouldn't have said it, but at the same time, freedom of speech. So it's her Twitter account. She can say whatever she wants to say. It's her Twitter. There's people on there saying way worse things than talking about a vaccine, and their accounts don't get suspended by the company, the platform that you're on. So,
but I think when you are influenced or can influence 22.7 million people, I mean, I don't follow Nicki Minaj. I don't think. Hold on, she is Sagittarius, so I might. Let me look. But you can't.
You don't even have to follow. Like, I just Googled it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have Twitter.
I was making a point to say that the people that you influence, like if I follow her, of course you wouldn't influence me. But let's say you influence even half of the population that you have following you. That's a lot. That is a lot of people. She probably gonna block us after this, but it's okay.
She ain't gonna block me because Nicki, I still love you. Give me some new music. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Your baby's cute. I don't know what else to say. But, and I'm not taking a hard stance either side. As I said, I think that it's a dangerous thing to do, especially when you're on a platform because people listen to you. But at the same time, it's your own page. It's your own Twitter feed or whatever it's called on Twitter. You really can say whatever you want.
She was saying more than that too.
Are you talking about the more recent posts, like from the 15th? So her post that I'm talking about was from the 13th.
Okay.
The stuff that you're seeing now is from the 15th. So I'm confused as when I Google it, and at the bottom it says this account is suspended. But hey, I don't have Twitter, so maybe it's just showing me whatever. And like I said in the beginning of the podcast, now it says stuff from the 15th. But I wouldn't even be upset for her to try to go off a little bit because it's like, yo, you just gonna just take my thoughts from me and not allow me to say what I want to say. She never said anything negative.
No, but she is definitely clapping back at everyone who is saying something regarding what she said. Because it is a hard pill to swallow that you can't say anything. Right. I mean, the darn ex-US president used to say whatever he wanted to on Twitter and never got suspended.
Is exactly what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. Like, people are saying way worse things. She never said, don't take the vaccine. It's going to kill you. He said, I'm not doing it until I do research. Why is that so bad?
I think Slow Media Day, people need to have something to talk about. And also she has 22.7 million followers that she can influence. And people are very, very adamant about this vaccine. And I get it, but people are also need to mind their business. You and other people, you in my business. It don't ask me if I got the vaccine. Don't ask me. It don't concern you. If I'm staying in my house, minding my business, it does not concern you. Especially when it comes to work. Now, if I had a husband and some kids, and my kids was going to school, and it was affecting other people, and I was out here in these streets, then I'm in your business because, I can affect you at that point. But I think at some point, especially when it comes to certain things, people have been a little too into what other people are doing. And you can't influence people that way. So there's that. Tweet me, DM me, at me if you have any comments, concerns. And no, you cannot know my vaccination status. Thank
you. Well, yeah, so that's what I wanted to start with because it just seemed to be, it was just on my mind. And when I saw it, I was like halfway disappointed, but halfway proud. Like, I didn't know what to think. But the real purpose why we were going to record today was to have a small discussion on the church and spirituality and ministry. So the reason why this came up to me was this week has been our revival at my church. So I have been in church Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week. And don't bother me now, except for my mask. Be kind of choking me up sometimes when I'm trying to sing. They feel like it gets thicker. I don't know. But so as I was sitting there, I was listening to all the different sermons that the guest preacher was talking about. And then on the ride home, I had this conversation with my friend. And I don't even know how we got on it, but it became something as though anybody can be a minister. Oh, it started because we were talking about how when I joined the discipleship class, which is a 3-year program at my church, and it's
Can I add an asterisk to what I said? Don't
what?
ask me my vaccination status unless we're dating, I'm around you, or it has to be of your concern for some important reason. There you go. I'm sorry.
Girl, that was like 5 minutes ago.
I know, but it was in my mind because I said, I know somebody gonna say something, but if I'm around you, and I can affect you for some reason, ask me and I can tell you.
Even with that, I kind of feel like if I'm around you, that's cool. I need to take my own precautions, whether you're vaccinated or not, because vaccination doesn't stop you from getting it. So I wouldn't even ask you, because it's like, if I feel uncomfortable and I feel like I need to wear my mask or double my mask, that's what I'm going to do. It don't matter if you got it or not. So you should tell them, even if I'm around you or I can infect you, unless you are swapping saliva, then I don't think it's anyone else's business.
Correct.
Yes. All right, so let me go back to what I was saying. So joining the discipleship class is a 3-year program. And as I was getting towards the end, even while I was in it, people were just saying, oh, are you trying to be a minister?
Really?
No. It is a 3-year it is a 3-year.
I did a year and a half. I don't know how you did 3 years. A year and a half is too much for me.
Yes. So our programs at our churches are a little bit different. Ours is more, I know yours were more on the females in the Bible, right?
Yes.
I'm about to say, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So your discipleship focused more on the women in the Bible, the females. Our discipleship program at Morning Star Baptist Church in Woodlawn.
Come on, give a shout out.
Yes. It's more on the level of teaching the mind of Christ, experiencing God, learning the scriptures, like the Bible altogether, just being a better Christian.
Program. All right.
Yes. So, and it was 3 years because that's how long the disciples followed Jesus. So that's why it was 3 years. So as I was,
well, actually we had two. We had one was the women of the Bible. The other one was more in depth about your faith and how Christ sees you and things like that. So we had two different. I guess each year was different, but yeah.
Okay. But it's okay.
It was different. You're right.
Okay. You're making me, every time you stop me, I lose my train of thought.
Sorry, go ahead.
People would ask me during the process and even towards the end when we graduated this year in June, was I doing it to be a minister? Am I trying to be a preacher? Do I want to, have some type of position in the church? And I'm like, no. Like,
and these are
why
in the church, outside the church?
It was people outside of the church that I knew personally. The people that I know in the church, most of them I knew from discipleship or other from my class or from other ministries that I'm in. So their first thought, they've been through it already. They know it doesn't automatically make you a minister.
Okay.
Because it doesn't. You get a certificate. I got my nice little certificate over there. I need to put in the frame. It's just laying up against the wall. But so I was like, no, I'm not trying to be a minister. Like, why do you have to be a minister just because you take some classes to learn about the Bible or to learn some scriptures or to learn, how to have the mind of Christ? And some of the classes, it starts to kind of make you see like, wait, you really are a minister in your own way. You think about it while you're in the class. But our conversation yesterday on the drive home after listening to the sermon, he was like, the bad thing about people in church, the members, is that they'll sit there and they're just looking at themselves as just members, nothing more, nothing less. They pay their tithes, they do their offerings, they may be in one or two ministries, they come on Wednesdays and Sundays, but that's it. They're just members. And then they're looking at the preachers and the bishops and the elders, all of that, as being above them and being able to really like their prayers mean more than our prayers as a member. And that's not true. It's really not true. And
I mean, not true, but I was saying that is true that people think that, like,
yeah, people really do think that, and they don't realize the power that they have. They don't realize that everything that you do is a ministry, as a Christian. And so as he was talking about, I was like, wait a minute. Oh, wow. Like, yeah. Why do I not want to go into ministry? Why do I not want to say I minister to people? It's because I don't think that I know enough about the Bible to be able to teach anybody anything. I don't know all the Bible stories. I wasn't raised in church. You know what I'm saying? Like, people may start talking about a story and I'm like, don't know nothing about that story. I'm gonna go check that out later on YouTube and listen to it as I'm getting ready in the morning. Like, that's how I learned the stories. Like, I listen to them. But I really didn't look at myself as being, I know that I'm a leader. I know that when I did my spiritual gifts, I was mercy showing, I was shepherding, and I was giving. And those are all things those are gifts that together can make you a good leader, a good teacher, a good minister. But I never looked at it like, oh yeah. I'm like, whenever they say minister and then they say my last name, I'm like, nope, that's my mom. She's the minister. She's the ordained one. I'm just Ciera. Like, I'm just a person in the pews chilling. So what are your thoughts when it comes to how you see yourself in church, like as a member of the church? Have you had the same revelation before, or do you still kind of like, I didn't have until yesterday, like, he's right, I do sit there looking at them like they all this, and like I'm not on their level when I can do just as much, if not more, than they can do.
Okay, maybe this is a loaded question for me. So we talked about this on the podcast before. My dad is a minister, or ordained minister, and so I grew up knowing that you should have your own personal relationship with God, and I also grew up seeing the other side of the pulpit, and so I don't perceive the pastors, ministers, deacons as more or less than me. I also know that people have a life. People do a lot of things behind the scenes that a lot of people don't realize. And so I never quite got with that, I would say. But I definitely think that I do forget sometimes that we should be ministering to other people. You know, some people say certain things or come to you with certain problems, and I might not say as much as I would like to say to people, just because I'm like, it's not my place. Maybe I don't know enough. And I've been in church my whole life, but I feel like I still don't know half of the stories, or I can't quote scriptures, all the scriptures verbatim. And so I don't know. I think that honestly, I think that we all should have a personal relationship with Christ, and whatever, to know that our prayers just is the same as someone else's prayer. Now, I do feel like some people prayers weigh a little bit more, like my grandma or my grandparents. Like, if they pray, I'm like, grandma pray. You know, my grandparents are not living, obviously, but I would have said, like, let me go to my grandma if they were still alive, right? Just because they've been praying for a long time, they know exactly what to say, and maybe they get a little faster than mine would. But
Faster what to say.
yes. And I don't know, but for now, like, just me personally now, I don't, when you're in church and they ask you, like, do you want any prayers, or do you want to, I feel bad when people ask me that. I'm like, no, I don't need any prayers. Like, I'll pray for myself, or, there is strength in numbers, though.
But why do you feel bad?
I don't know. I'm like, because somebody will tell like a horrible thing that they had that day and something they went through. I'm like, dang, never mind. Right? Like, my day wasn't that bad, or I didn't have this much go on. So, like, so for instance, if we're having a conversation and someone's like, yeah, my such and such got COVID and they're sick and they're in the hospital. And then maybe I want to say something like, oh my God, I mean, oh my God, but my day was, I had just had a bad day at work. This, that, and the third happened. And, I'm just making up something. Maybe I'm not happy and I just want to switch jobs. So pray for me that I can find another job. Like, to me, that's two different types of prayer. I don't know.
It definitely is two different types of prayer. Like one is like health wise, physical health. The other one is more mental health wise and just dissatisfaction. So I can see like not wanting to say that out loud, because especially like I can see not wanting to say it out loud or add it to the list right after someone just said someone's sick or someone passed away, I need this. But if you feel like you need prayer, like I think there's nothing wrong with still requesting it and not feeling like yours is any less important to God than someone else's. It may seem less important, but who knows, like your happiness at your job can link to 5 other things in the rest of your life. So
true. I never thought about it that way, but I definitely don't like when people say put me on the prayer request list. I probably maybe have never said put me on the request list in church.
Girl, I surely have. I sent the emails. This is what it is. Send it right up to them, like add me. I'm like, but who's gonna read this email? I don't know who's gonna read it, who's gonna know what my situation is, but at least they know I asked for the help. And I mean, I'm praying for myself because my prayers are just as important. You can touch yourself, you can pray on yourself. But I've done that. I did it in 2020. I haven't done it in 2021, but I know I did it in 2020 because I was like, Lord, look, I need some help. And that's when they were doing the 24 hours. Church was doing 24 hours, and the minister supposedly, I guess, had like 1 hour blocks or something. I don't know how they had it set up, but I was like, oh, y'all asking? Here's some things for you to add to your list. Just go ahead and whisper.
But I even had to pray for myself maybe like a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, Lord, I don't never pray for myself. I always be praying for other people. That is something that I definitely have to work on with myself. I'm always like thinking of other people before I think of myself. And I even was telling God, like, man, I don't even pray for myself. I apologize. Like, let me start throwing a couple of prayers in for me because I need it,
Really? Girl.
Before I go to bed, I would be praying for somebody else, and I'm like, oh, get myself good night.
So you just start off your prayers like straight about other people, which isn't bad. Okay. I know that my thing used to be not praying out loud. I hated praying out loud. And that's because I just always felt like I didn't have the right words to say.
I hate that.
Then it was again in revival a couple of years ago. I can't remember her name. I think they were like the Life Church or something. And she came, and when she was doing her sermon, I don't even remember what book we were in, but her sermon said such and such. And I always read the verses before and after before I really start listening. So I probably missed the first couple minutes. So I wasn't really listening to her. It's like, let me read before and after. And then you know how the Bible has this little, go to this section. And so I went to that section that took me to Exodus, and then it started talking about Moses. And I was like, oh, God got jizzokes right now because he knows that I'm starting this class where we sometimes they'll ask people to pray at the end, the discipleship class, pray us in, pray us out. And I'd be like, please.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I used to be having anxiety the whole time. Like
Ciera, don't pick me. Don't pick me, Ciera.
The one time they asked me, I stumbled all over my words. I bet they won't ask me more. They ain't asked me for either.
Never again. So yeah, that's what my thing was. But wherever she was in the Bible led me to Exodus. And then I read about Moses and his having the stuttering issue and being afraid and Aaron. I was like, I never even read the story before. I'm like, he just like me. If he can do it, I can do it. And that kind of changed everything. And then we started praying every night at 6:30. And we went from praying like maybe.
Oh man, I forgot I used to do that with y'all sometimes. I used to be nervous when it got to my part, girl.
Yeah, we did it for a long time. And at first it'd be like 2 minutes each, but then it started to become like, we'd be on there like 30 minutes praying, asking about different people were even saying, hey, can you pray for me, my situation when you call your friend? And we were like, she would tell me what her friends were going through. I tell her what my friends are going through. We would just throw it in there. I invited you, I invited Princess, like I invited other people because prayer is important. But it turned out to be like, now I'm not afraid. Like if somebody were to call on me and say, Ciera, can you pray us out? All right, everybody by your heads. Most gracious God. Like boom, like it's
all right,
on.
we'll have you pray us out on this podcast. I'm just kidding.
I could pray us out if you want me to. But then it's funny because sometimes I'll be on stuff and I'm waiting for them to say, I've been on so many church Zooms, I'm waiting to say, okay, well, we'll pray out. And like, wait, this ain't church. This is a different Zoom. We can't pray out on this. Never mind, my bad. So, but yeah, so that fear, I had to let it go, but I didn't let it go until I read it in the Bible. And then it's like, what was my real fear? My fear of not being able to say the right thing to God, like out loud. He already knows what I'm going to say. He already knows what I'm thinking. So what am I afraid of? Like, what words am I looking for? I was looking to pray like I've seen other people pray. I was looking to sound like the minister who opens up church, or, when you go to something else and someone starts praying and you start feeling them, you're like, oh, I feel that in my soul. I need to be able to use those words that they use. Like I need to be on that level. You don't need that. And I had to teach myself that I didn't need to be them. I didn't need to find the right words that sounded cool. The words that everybody in the church says. I can be just as simple. And I read some Bible app plans, and one of them is like the most powerful prayers are 3 words. And I was like, and it can be as easy as, thank you, God. I need help.
I surrender.
Please be here. God. Yeah. The 3-word prayers are real. And I'm like, so I don't need to use all these big old words. So yeah, it was just eye-opener last night that we think little of ourselves, not because anyone told us to. And even though we know people in the church are just people and they've got things that, some people in church, I'm never going to Google them because I don't want to know what will come up. Okay. I want to see you as I see you when I see you on Sunday and Wednesdays and all the whatever days. But just knowing that they went through and they went to seminary school and they took the time to really learn the Bible and make it their career, their love, their calling. Hopefully they've truly been called and it's not something that they made up. Because I even know somewhere I'm like, he was out in the streets. I will never go to one of his sermons and listen because I've seen you on the other side.
But some people do really try to change it around and then are held to their past. So I do get that too. But I do understand what you're saying. Like, are you guys really, really called, or you just want to be known as this person?
Yeah.
There's a lot of power that comes with being a minister, being a pastor.
It's a lot of power. It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of people looking to you. And yeah, if you weren't called and it's something that you may have thought it was something you wanted to do and, you're following it, then that's cool. Just know that I'm not going to doubt you because I know people change, but I'm also not going to sit there and listen to you because I have to go to where I feel comfortable, where I feel like I'm being fed, where the words are coming to me in the way that they should come to me. And if I already have an outlook for you, I'm not going to judge you. I'm just not going to follow you. You have to pay attention to who you're following.
I would caution you in saying that because, again, you don't know backgrounds of pastors and people that you follow now.
Yeah, but that's what I said, my comfort level. So if I know for 100% fact where you were and what you were doing, and I'm not comfortable following you leading me spiritually, then I'm not going to follow you. And that's why I said, there's people I'm never going to Google because I don't want to know. And that's why I said that. I don't want to know what could be out there in the world of what you're doing, because then that's going to change my outlook on you. And people will Google and they talk about Jamal Bryant. I never followed him. I didn't know him. I wasn't even living up here at the time. But they're like, oh, well, he has all these babies and all that and all that. Okay. But if I was just in his church and he was preaching to me and I felt like I was learning from him, I'm not going to listen to all that. I'm not going to Google all that. I don't want to know it. Let me follow what's feeding me at the time. And whenever it stops, then let me go and do what I want to do. So that's how I feel about, like I said, I have never Googled my preacher and my bishop, and I will not. Okay. Because I don't want to know. But right now, God has me there for a reason. And I've been there since 2012. November of 2012, and I'm just as happy as I am now as I was on that cold day when I walked down and said I wanted to join. And they took my stuff up and swept me into the back and gave me a Bible and all that good stuff that happened on that day. So yeah, I probably am talking a whole lot today, but I was excited about what was in the revival. I was excited about driving home and just thinking about the power that is in me and what I can also give to the world. So
Oh, that's good. I do want to talk about one other thing while we're on the topic of spirituality and things. So if you look on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, there
mhm,
are a lot of people who talk about manifestation right now, right?
mhm,
And I think that um, the one thing that I wanted to say about that is, do I think there is something to manifestation? Yes, it is in the Bible in certain language, right? In so
mhm,
many words. However, I do want to be cautious to say to people, like, you can't conjure up something. Like, you can't, like, for me personally, I'll just say for myself, I think that my destiny is already lined out on how it's going to be. I can't make anything come faster or slower, that type of thing. But I do think that there is something said to having a positive mindset. Like, that is great. Keep a positive mindset, keep towards, whatever goals that you want to have, what are things you aspire to, because you don't know what's in your destiny. You don't know what God has already planned. It might be these things to me equal faith. Like, if I can believe that I can have something, it's mine,
mhm.
And so to me, it equals faith. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe watch our wording with some of the things that we listen to. Some people now are like saying that there are, from I've seen on TikTok, like with manifestation things, like, oh, I'm saying a spell by affirmations. So just be careful of the things that you let in, and what you believe in. Also, think about, like, as you're listening to something, even if it's to us, just go, does that make sense? Like, is this something that I believe? Is this something that's true for me? Let me do my research, because I feel like everybody has a platform nowadays and anybody can say anything to you, and
Mhm.
you might think it's gospel or correct or true, and it might not necessarily be the case for yourself. So always think about what you think is correct, what you think is true, what you think is noble, and be cautious of what you let in and take in from other people.
That leads me to a quick question. So, what, as you were talking, you were saying, it could be similar to faith.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say would be the line between manifesting and being and having faith? Like, where do you draw that line? Because I know we did have someone come on before and she was talking about manifesting things, and she was telling a story about how somebody manifested, it was a baby, but I don't know if it was also the husband too. Can't remember. But
Oh.
she manifested, a child that she wanted. It happened. And is that what's the difference in your opinion? I don't really hear a lot of people talk about manifestation. I don't see it on social media, but she was the only person that I know that has actually
Mm-hmm.
talked to me about it. I just don't have any friends that talk about it. So it sounded like she was trying to say it, I mean, I know she wasn't saying it was faith because she started out by saying she's not very um
Spiritual.
religious
Mm-hmm.
and spiritual in that way. So what is your definition of the difference?
So let me see if I can answer this, because I think the words can be synonymous. Like, you can say manifestation, you can say faith. However, I think manifestation is the belief that if you um, believe something so much, it is yours regardless. Like, it's the thing that if you believe in the um physical realm, that somewhere in the spiritual realm is working out in your favor, if that makes sense. So let me actually look up
I'm about to say,
the
because I want you to then define faith, because it almost, because that's why I'm
it
asking,
sounds
because as you're talking, I'm like, okay, I know they're different, but what's the clear line?
yeah, because let me look it up because I don't want to give you guys like what I think, and it's literally off the dome, and so I could be totally incorrect. But so it says that manifestation is an event, an action, or object that clearly shows or embodies something, especially a theory or an abstract idea.
Say it one more
Um,
time.
an event, action, or object that clearly shows or embodies something, especially a theory or an abstract idea.
I haven't
I'm
been in
gonna
school in a long time, but that just kind of went over my head of what they're really trying to say there.
it's other definitions like an appearance of a ghost or spirit, a version or incarnation of something or someone, a symptom or sign of an ailment, the action or act of showing in an abstract idea.
Is that Webster? What is that? Where you at?
Oxford.
Dictionary.com? Oh,
Uh,
Oxford.
yeah. Let me go to Webster. Maybe that the act, process, or instant of manifesting. Something that manifests outward or visible expression. One of the forms in which an individual is manifested. So a per, let's go with the outward or visible expression. So, this is actually a good question. There's no clear, obviously, no clear definition on what manifestation is. Here it is. What is manifestation exactly? Essentially, manifestation is bringing something tangible. I think this is what I was trying to say earlier. Bringing something tangible into your life through attraction and belief. So, if I think really positively and I'm really hard on the fact that I'm just gonna make up something, a bottle of water, right? I really want this water. Like I really, really want it. And I believe that it is mine and nothing can stop it from being mine. That is like manifesting. And then maybe I could do, but it's to me, it's the same. Like
It's the
faith is,
same.
yeah,
You
it's
can be
similar. It's
like,
very,
I'm dying of thirst right now. I have faith the Lord will deliver me a bottle of water because I'm in the desert. And next thing you know, there's a bottle of water in the corner. Like they're
I'm gonna
so
go
similar.
with my initial thing saying that here I'm gonna go back with my initial thing when I said that they can be synonymous, but here's the maybe the difference.
Okay.
It says that faith is complete trust or confidence in something, someone, or something. Strong belief in God or in the doctrines of religion based on spiritual apprehensions rather than. So I think maybe the difference is you believing in God giving you this thing versus something giving you this thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with that. So manifestation is the belief that if
The
you
universe is going to drop
the
something that you want.
universe, the whatever that is existing will give you this thing because you've believed hard enough and it already exists. They say everything in the physical already exists in the spiritual anyway, right? So maybe I believe that this universe is going to give me X, Y, and Z, or whoever I believe in. But faith is, I specifically believe that God, if this is ordained and meant to be, this will happen for me.
Okay.
Let's go
Good
with
definitions.
that.
So you're just saying before you go out here and manifest things.
Are you manifesting, or is it of God? Maybe that's what I was trying to say. Is it of God, or are you trying to conjure this up from somewhere else?
Right. That's deep, people. If you are a manifester and you manifest things or you believe you're manifesting, I don't know how to ask the question. Um, yeah, let us know what your definition is of manifesting and what's your definition of faith. Are they synonymous? You saw we just took like,
I was gonna say,
I don't
you
know how
watched us
long,
process how
try to figure it out.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you practice, maybe you'll be easier and quicker for you to tell us, like, this is what I believe it to be. And again, you know, everybody has their own opinions. So your opinion may be different than what Ebony just read, but there's nothing wrong with that. Because,
or you can say, why can't I manifest and have faith? Listen, I don't write the rules. You probably can.
You probably can. We don't know. We're just
I don't know.
Ebony and Ciera, you know.
Right.
But yeah, so that, I mean, that's a good way to good thing to throw into this episode. We're talking about spirituality. We're talking about you know, being in the church. And I feel like when people are manifesting, they are not religious. They are not into that level. They will be the ones to say, you know, I'm very spiritual. I don't need to go to church. I have a relationship with the universe. I don't even know if they say God. They might just say like, I have a relationship with the higher power that I believe in. Which is good, you know, everyone needs to believe in something. But yeah, I do believe that that's something that the church does look down on in a negative way. But I'm not exactly sure if it's because it's saying that they're taking God out of it, which would be a good reason to kind of look down on it. But as a church, we also need to know, like, sometimes you can't just look down on people because you're supposed to be the one bringing them in.
You know what? I think sometimes as the church, we get burned out by this prosperity gospel, right? And sometimes I think that we don't get that we get to have faith, but we don't really dig deep in what it means to have faith. Like, we can have faith that, let's take, I have faith that I'm going to get married one day. But do I really know how long that's going to take? No, I don't. And I can have the faith that it never happened, right? God forbid. And so I think that there has to be some teaching around this whole faith and what we believe and who we are, and just helping us see that, you know, I think there is a lot of conversation around this is bigger than us. This is, it's not just about this life that you have now, but it has to be something deeper and something rooted, because there are so many philosophies, there are so many people coming at you with what they believe, what they think, and you have all of these opinions, and you don't, at some point, manifestation and faith sounds very similar, right? It's easily to get tripped up and tricked into believing something that you think, well, that's the same thing I believe, so let me just go with that wording. It's the same. So I think that we as the church, especially when it comes to, because now we're a lot of things are virtual, and just the world is shifting and changing and evolving every day. We need to just be very careful about what we say, how we say it, what words we use, teaching different languages, teaching different thought processes, and really being real in the church. And I think that'll be helpful.
What do you mean by teaching different languages?
I mean, for instance, teaching different languages as far as letting people know, well, this language is out here. Like, you might hear manifestation, you might hear that type of thing, letting people know.
I thought you meant like the church is going to go out and like literally teach people different languages. That's not different languages. So you mean teaching them different words they may hear?
Because what if I wasn't really on social media and didn't know what manifestation was, and you came to me and said, hey, let me teach you about this new word. It's just like faith. This is what it is, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm going around saying, I'm manifesting this, I'm believing in this. You see the difference? Like, belief, manifestation, I just said the same thing. Faith, I have faith that this will happen. All of those, you know, seem similar, but it may not be. So just making sure that we keep people informed. That's all.
Keep people informed.
And give people the option to believe, to think for themselves. But like, let me give you the information, and then you go you do your research. Back to Nicki Minaj, you do your research,
Mm-hmm.
and then you come back and we ask questions, we dissect. I don't know everything, you don't know everything. We just go, see what we can find in the Bible.
So do you feel as though that's not happening right now?
Probably not, to be honest, just because again we are virtual, and I think a lot, and it could be happening somewhere that I'm not aware of. But I just think that sometimes the church tries to stray away from certain things. Like, I'm not going to teach you. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm not trying to teach you about sex, so I don't really want to bring sex up that much. The bare minimum I'll say is, maybe I'll say a little bit about soul ties. Maybe I'll say a little bit about you not having sex before marriage. But that's all I'm a hint on. I don't want to go no deeper because I don't want to give you the thought of having sex outside of marriage. Like, but what if I do? Like, do you want to tell me? Do you want to bring that in? But what if I don't? And then do you want to talk about the fact that if I don't and I don't get married, what happens after that? I don't. I think we need deeper conversations that we don't have.
I do. I definitely agree with that. But what I will say
Mm-hmm.
is sometimes the reason why we're not getting that is because we're only trying to get it from one place. If
Mm.
you're only trying to get it from your church, you might not get it because your church may not be the type that's going to talk about that. You
Mm-hmm.
might need to go and find one of these other pastors or preachers that are younger who are willing to open up and talk about that type of thing, or you might need to just do your own research. You might need to talk to
Mm-hmm.
different people. So the church itself should be the place to get the information. But if it's not, we can't
It's
say, oh, the church is
usually
not teaching us. You got to go out and find the information you need to. So both need to be a part of the situation. So
I
that
agree.
that's why I say, like, I love going to my church, but at the same time, I do listen to other pastors. I do, you know, I don't focus just in on one place because you can't get everything
Mm-hmm.
from one place. You
Yeah,
go to the same grocery store, and like sometimes they don't got what you need. You need to go somewhere else to get the other
that is
ingredients to make what
true.
you're trying to make. Like they be out of the seasoning you're looking for. So go. So yeah, that's
That is true.
that's one thing I wanted to just throw in on that. But
Make sure you are fed, and I think that I had a thought process that I was going to say, make sure that you are, we've said this, but do your own research and just really like paying attention. Cause it's just like the thing, like, people probably do this all the time, but you send your child to school to only, the school is teaching my child about sex and you not teaching your child about sex. That is not sufficient.
Mhm.
Like,
You need
everybody doesn't know everything, and we've talked about this on the podcast too. A lot of preachers don't necessarily go to seminary, so a lot of people are learning on the fly, which is fine because you know all in all, to say, have your own personal relationship with God and make
mhm.
sure you are going to God in prayer and listening to Him, because it is, it's going to get harder and harder to listen and hear Him as time go on and things pop up. So make sure you have your own personal relationship, so you know what someone is saying is valid or not. Even us, your church, the pastor on the internet.
Mhm.
I almost threw out a name,
Mhm.
but just make sure.
Well, one last thing to go with what she just said is like make sure you're listening and um I'm sure I'm not sure. You may have already heard this, and I didn't hear this until I think it was the second year of our discipleship class. And they did this little analogy, I guess that's what it would be. They were talking about like if you're in a crowded room, a
Mhm.
crowded mall, and you hear your mom call your name, you're going to hear her, right? And you're going to look because you know your mom's voice. You know what it
Mhm.
sounds like. You know, a whole bunch of other people could say, Ebony. Well, you know what your tone of your mom's voice is
Mhm.
because you have that relationship with her. You talk to her a lot. A lot of people may feel as though they don't hear from God because they don't have that relationship. If you are praying to Him, if you are reading the Bible, if you are living the life that you're supposed to live, the more you communicate with Him, the more you'll be able to know when it's Him talking,
Mhm.
and it's not just the devil trying to fake you out or just something else happening. Like you'll know for sure it's Him because you have developed that relationship and His voice will stand out regardless of what's going on in your world.
I
So I just wanted
agree.
to leave everybody with that because it was kind of like a light bulb back in I think it was the second year. So 2020,
And I would just add in how he talks to you too, because it's very different per person sometimes, and he can speak to us in different ways. Like he might be a dream, it might be audible, it might be through someone else. It can be very different.
We actually learned that in the class. So if you join the discipleship class at my church, if you're interested, they teach you in I do want to say it's year 2 again. It's the 7 ways he speaks to you. And I was like, oh gosh, there's this many. So yeah, there's so many different ways. And Ebony, some of the ones she said, they're definitely on the list. So the key to that though is if he's speaking to you, you're not going to hear him if you don't have a relationship. That's what it comes down to. He can be right in front of you yelling at you, and you ain't even gonna know it's him because you don't have a relationship with him to understand it's him. So we'll leave you with that.
It's a process. It doesn't take to like, you can't be just like, oh, let me talk to God tomorrow. He gonna tell. No, it's a process for you to learn. It's just like having a relationship with anybody. If I'm in a relationship, I start a relationship tomorrow with a guy, like I'm not gonna know the way he likes to communicate with me. I'm just gonna have to learn and spend time with around him to know, like, this is how you communicate. This is what you like. This is, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah.
So yeah, y'all heard what we said. If y'all have any questions about this topic, I can keep talking about this topic, but
I feel like we can, but we just, if you want a part 2 or part 3 or have any questions, drop it in.
Let us know.
The comments.
You can, you know how to reach us. You can drop us something in the comments. You can send us a DM. You can to the group. You can send it to us, to our IG page, or you can send it individually to each of us. You can individually message me at Raven with 2 N's, Raven with Love, or Ebony at
Ebony D Johnson on Instagram. I almost said I was, I be saying D as in David, and it just kind of
And of course, at the Real Play Podcast on Instagram. That's where you can get us, or at the Real Play Podcast at gmail.com. Those are the ways to reach us.
Even on Facebook, we are, Facebook, we are at the Real Play Podcast. And I don't plug this often, but YouTube, you can actually see us. If you are listening to us and you want to see what we look like, you can actually see us on YouTube, and we are at the Real Play Podcast. If you are looking at us, you can find us.
You can find us on all the different platforms. I did that because I'm like, if you're looking at us, so I had a long day at work. It started raining right when I got home. There was traffic because of the rain, even though it was not a lot of rain, it was just drizzle. So I just came home. Yes, I have a hat on. Yes, I'm looking real like basic right now. For those who can see me, love y'all too.
You look nice today.
Why, thank you. But yeah, there's plenty of ways to listen to us. But make sure when you do listen to us, you like, comment, or subscribe.
Yes, and share it with your friends. It's free. It's free 99. And we thank you in advance. I was going to say something real snarky, but then I just was like, don't do that.
Maybe next episode you will.
If you got a guy friend that's cute, share this with him. Maybe not today. Wait till I'm really cute. Then do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, not for me.
Not today.
It's not today. Anyways, yes, thank you guys for listening. As always, we appreciate the support. However you're listening, however you're sharing, however you're liking and commenting. We just thank you for just hanging in with us for the season 2. This is probably our season 2. I think we're at episode 33, and I think season 1 we had about 20 some. So we're
getting I counted, it was 60, so we should be around like 65-ish, something around there. Last time
there we go. Yep. So if you've been sticking with us from the beginning, we appreciate it. We love you. If you're new, go back and check out some of our older episodes. They're still just as great as this one. And it'll get you all lined up. Do a binge, get you all lined up for our next episode. Our episodes drop every Tuesday.
Yes, and you'll learn a little bit about us, who we are, what we like, and just stay tuned and connect with us on social media. And thank you guys for listening, watching. We appreciate it.
Okay. Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye.